Chapter 13. On January 4, 2005, mid sunny day in Washington, D.C., Barack Obama was sworn in as a new member of the United States Senate. He was the only African American member of the Senate at this time, and he was only the third African American to be elected to the office since Western Storybook in 1877. Michelle, Malone, and Sasha share him formed the gallery, and so did Mellon, Arden, and Elma's mother, Cancer. Then Michelle and the girls went back to Chicago, and Barack tried to get used to living on his own in Washington for most of each week. He wanted to bring the family into Washington because he knew how much he would miss them. But finally he agreed with Michelle that it was better to keep their residence in Chicago, where they had a solid network of family and friends. The most important person in the Chicago network was Martha Robertson. Michelle's mother loved spending time with Malone and Sasha, and the girls were comfortable and happy with her. Since Mother lived only 10 minutes away from the Obamas, she could easily drive the girls to lessons, sports, or friends' house, or she could each stay overnight with them if Michelle had to be away from home. Now that the family was in the public eye so much, Michelle felt that they need a large home for the privacy. In June that year, the Obamas bought a sturdy three-story house almost 100 years old in Highland Park, not far from the University of Chicago. They could afford to buy a big house because Barack's huge success after the Democratic National Convention had given new life to his book. The paperback publisher of Dreams from My Father resold the book, and it began to sell widely. The publisher then offered Obama to contract for 3 more books, with an advisors of almost $2 million. Barack's unlikely scrambling to solve their financial problems by writing the book had turned out much better than Michelle expected. Barack rented an apartment in Washington and had stayed 3 there during the week when Congress was in session. Weekends he spent in Chicago. He always had official obligatory on Saturdays, but he saved Sundays for Michelle and their daughters. At the same time that he was beginning this high-pressure new job, Obama was also writing his next book. The book contrasts with his large advice has solved Obama's money problems, but he was only adding to the problem of the many demands in his time. Obama titled the new book, The Advisors of Hope, losing a marvelable praise for one General White's cinemas at 30 choice. During his first years in the Senate, Barack Obama worked quietly and tried to keep a low profile. Most of the time, he voted with the rest of the Democrats, as an incentive was the military commissioners of the 2006, which allows the military to personal identity without a hearing and when the federal government terminating unlawful enemy combated. Obama was one of the only 34 senators to oppose the act, believing they violated civil liberties granted by the United States Constitution and encourages the health intellectually of prisoners. True to his promise to work for India against partisan politics, Obama teamed with the Republicans on a number of bills. His main accomplishment was a bill he co-sponsored with Republican Senator Richard Logan in Indiana. The respect chairman of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee. Logan knew that Obama admitted the work that he and Senator Sam Nunn had already done or controlled the world's stockpiling of nuclear weapons. He accused Obama to join the foreign relations community and invited him to compose the legal Obama non-proliferation internally and following out to the non-legal corporated that reducing the program. To gather information for their bill, Obama traveled with Lincoln to Russell in 2005. They visited warehouses full of nuclear missiles, now being closing, guarded, and dismantled under the non-nuclear program. In neighboring Ukraine, forming part of southern Ukraine, they saw poorly gathered stories of the landmines, as well as of the biological weapons arsenal, and realized how easily terrorists could size them. The legal Obama non-proliferation interested in America to reduce worldwide stockpiles of piles of pro-conservation weapons and weapons of mass destruction. The bill will finally become law in January of 2007. Obama was still traveling and seeing illegal in Europe on August 29, 2005, when one of the worst natural disasters in U.S. history hit the Gulf Coast. Hurricane Katrina made landfall in Mississippi and Louisiana. Police protection in New Orleans failed, and the ship was floating. Almost 2,000 people died in the disaster, and tens of thousands lost their homes. The hurricane caused more than $80 billion in damage, making it the costliest natural disaster in U.S. history. Although the National Hurricane Center and the National Weather Service had given plenty of warning, the city, state, and federal governments were all slow to respond. TV news programs show shocking scenes of hapless older people waiting in wheelchairs in the smoothing heat, of bodies floating past floating neighborhoods, of roosters raining abandoned stories. About 20,000 refugees, hundreds in the National Superdome, the main sports center in New Orleans, without enough food, water, or sanitation. The Federal Emergency Management illegally, FEMA, was barely criticized, and the Bush administration was accused of racism. Since the people who suffered the most from the efforts of the hurricane were poor and black, the hip-hop artist Kanye West says bluntly, George W. Bush doesn't care about black people, even interviewed on ABC's TV program. The week with George Stephenson, Obama responds thoughtfully. When he returned from Europe, he had voiced a vision the Astor Store in Houston, Texas, when thousands of the refugees were sheltering. He saw that the refugees were likely many of the inner city people had working within Chicago, poor, badly educated, and ill health. They had been barely hanging on even before the hurricane struck. We didn't have nothing before the storm. One woman told him, now we got less than nothing. It wasn't so much that the federal government was racist. Obama explained to George Stephenson instead, it was compounding of the people who were incompetent, and completely out of touch with the way poor people in a city like New Orleans actually live. He thought that whoever was in charge of planning was so detached from the realities of inner city life in a place like New Orleans that they couldn't convey under the nation of the knowledge that somebody couldn't load up their SUV. Put $100 worth of gas in there. Put in some sparkling water and drive off to a hotel and check in with a credit card. In August 2006, Senator Obama took an official trip to Africa as a congressional delegation. He had planned this trip since the beginning of 2005. It would be a fact-finding mission about the AIDS epidemic in many African countries and the gross human rights violated in Darfur. The first country on Obama's work was South Africa, near Cape Town. He told the person was Nelson Mandela. He was on the application at the particular residence had been held for 18 of his 27 years of imposed imprisonment. This was a moving moment for Obama. He had first been drawn into politics over the issues of Albania and South Africa. The next day, he visited a health center in a shelter town outside Cape Town that had spoke to reporters about the actual endemic of AIDS, one of the worst in the world, for which South Africans were suffering. The president of South Africa, Deborah Markler, is doubling in a public statement that the disease of AIDS was caused by the HIV infection. Although this was an external medical fact, Obama hoped to meet with Markler during his visit, and he didn't want to offend him, but he felt that AIDS was too grave a threat to be parleyed about. He criticized Markler's government, showing as being in denial as signifies facts about AIDS, and he called for a sense of urgency. The next day, Markler refused to meet with Obama. However, many other South Africans were grateful to him for speaking out. After 4 days in South Africa, Obama flew to Killeen, Michelle, Maryland, and Salsa joining him for this part of the trip. So did his half-sister, Alma, who was now living near London and working in social service. Barack was eager to show his children the country of their grandfather. Obama introduced them to their Canadian refugees. Obama will also hope, as he is standing at the news conference in Namibia, to be a bridge between the two nations with this official trip to Canada. As it soon became apparent, the main intention during the visit was some interest in that the Obamas had almost no personal time. Also, everywhere Barack Obama went in Canada, he was greeted by Obama's crowds. To Canadians, he was an American prize. In normally in London, in a crowd held a lot, in all portrait in Obama that he had painted. Obama and the person had glow around him, almost as if he was a saint. Obama and his family made the trip from Namibia to his father's childhood home in Congo, as Obama had done in 1988 and 1991. The difference was that the first two trips had been private, but this one was overwhelmingly private. Instead of traveling with Mormons by bus with chickens on his lap, and he had in 1988, Obama flew from Namibia followed by huge press corps. As the center part of their visit to Obama's agency at home, Barack and Michelle planned to have their blood tested for AIDS as preventive medical clinic. They want to make the point that anyone could and should get tested for AIDS. Thousands of Canadians crowd the streets on the way to the clinic, dancing and chanting. Everything is possible with Obama. Camel crews and reporters struggling through the chilling darts to watch the tests and the trouble provided by the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC. CDC. The CDC estimated that 500,000 more people might have themselves tested just as a result of for the Obama demonstration. Dr. Obama and his family visited a Kellogg County project far out in the bush. This project was also connected with the AIDS crisis, embedding all the women to support children affected by AIDS. Obama himself had provided part of the funding for the project, which gave money to the women to invest in the curriculum such as swarming machines. At the gathering of the women and children involved in the CAL project, Obama was honored with also for dancing and singing. Michelle said to a reporter, "It's all a bit overwhelming. The interest in testing and aspiration continued to be overwhelming as the Obamas proceeded to a school in Colorado. The village near his family compound. Obama had donated money to the school. It was named after him. The Senator Obama Colorado Secondary School. Thousands of Louis Jewish people had gathered here for the combined celebration of Obama's visit and the potential rally for the upcoming Carolina elections. After ceremonies at the school, the Obamas then drove the short distance to the Obama family compound, while Barack's Carolyn grandmother, Grammy guaranteed them. She was now 83. Barack had planned that he and Michelle and their daughters will spend more than 2 hours in private with her. But because of the crowd and the reporters and cameras waiting, they had only 40 minutes, barely enough time to eat a meal together. At the end of their Carolina visit, the Obamas took 2 days to enjoy a softening Marcellus County. Then Barack and Michelle flew northwest to Chad, where they visited in refugees camp found with veterans of the Shitty War, a neighbor born in London. Obama had planned to visit, done for himself, but the Sundresses government refused to let him into the country. More than 200,000 refugees from Darfur live in camps like This is the desert, surviving on the torches and water trucks in by the UN. By visiting the camp and talking with some of the refugees, Obama hoped to learn more about Darfur, but the visit was frustrating because he had less than 2 hours to listen to the refugees, and their stories had to be translated from Nebula to French to English for him. However, he hoped that his appearances would draw more media attention to the plight of the refugees. In October 2006, soon after Barack Obama returned from Africa, his new book was published, The Anniversary of Hope, through the recollections in American Dream, was an immediate success. It wasn't a popular book of dreams from my father, but it was still much more straightforward and redeemable than the usual politics book. In its best, in more details, the themes of his speech at the Democratic National Convention in 2004. We're one nation. One best comes out in working together for the common good, and one deserves a fair chance at an American dream. The Emperor of Hope. Obama championed and criticized many of the politics of the Bush administration, especially the Iraq War. Obama had opposed the war as long ago as the fall of 2002. before the war was even officially launched. Now he pointed out that the Iraq War was only one example of the Bush administration's confused foreign policy. For example, why invaded Iraq but not North Korea, Kim Jong-il. Government was just an impression as Saddam Hussein's and North Korea escalated proportional weapons of mass destruction. At the same time, Obama was careful to make the point that he didn't consider the George W. Bush to be a bad man. In fact, he asserted that President Bush and the people in the administration were certainly trying to do what they thought best for the country. In one-to-one meeting with Bush, Obama found the president friendly and likable. The president also communicated Barack Obama's ability to laugh at himself. For example, he told about calling Michelle from Washington to bring her up to date about how his bill with Dick Laudible was going out in the works of the Senate. Barack couldn't manage everything more about important than the non-professional Latino. But Michelle was on a different track, on which the most important issue was in the invasion in their house. She hadn't wanted him with a request when he picked up some ink traps on his way home from Washington the next day. But soon then, Barack wondered around famous senators like Edward Kennedy or John McCain even had to buy in traps after inaugurating legislation of worldwide senator factory in the Senate. He could count on Michelle to bring down the art. Obama wasn't up for the re-election in 2006 since U.S. Senator had 6 year terms, but he helped the other Democrats candidates campaign. To his satisfaction, the national elections in November gave the Democrats a major in both the Senate and the House of Representatives. That, together with President Bush, continually popular, boded well for the Democrats to capture the White House in 2008. Chapter 14. During the fall of 2006, Barack Obama turned to the question of whether he should try to run for president in 2008. Although the election was not more than 2 years away, he needed to decide now, and presidential campaign will require an enormous effort, far beyond what he and his supporters had done for his Senate race. Obama considered first with Michelle and with his most trusted staff, David Axelrod and Robert Gibbs. Then he went on to talk with Ray's friends who were opponents he respected, including the Revelers, Jeremiah White, and Jesse Jackson. The feedback he got was very positive. Although Barack Obama was running for the presidency, he will for 47 in January 2009. He wasn't as long as Theodore Roosevelt, the longest president at 42 upon inauguration. John F. Kennedy had became president at 43. Obama lacking experience at the national level of government, but JFK has served only 2 terms in the Senate. Abraham Lincoln has served only 1 term on Congressman from the Illinois before his election to the presidency. One important sign for Obama's candidacy was that his new books, The Formula Book and Surely a Hope, was a runaway bestseller. This success gave him a great deal of good publicity. His face was on the cover of Time magazine, in his book tour, including an appearance with Michelle Obama. President George W. Bush's unpopularity was an advantage for any Democratic candidate. Bush himself wouldn't be able to run. Since 2008, it would be the end of his second. Since 2008 would be the end of his second 40-year term. But the Republican candidate will have suggested to devolve beginning Lincoln with the problems of the Bush administrations, the seemingly endless war in Iraq, the soaring national budget deficits, the treacherous economically, and considering whether Barack should run for president. Michelle warned about the effects of his potential career or their family, and presidential vote meant that Michelle, as well as Barack, had to spend the next 2 years campaigning. It meant even less privacy and time with each other, and with their 3 long children. Still, by December 2006, Michelle had agreed to support Barack in his bid for the presidency. She made him promise to start smoking. However, before she promised to help him campaign, also, she was determined to keep her children's lives stable, in spite of the tremendous pressures of their father's run for president. To free up time for campaigning, Michelle quit her position on the board of Treehouse and supplemented to Walmart stores. She also cut back on her work as vice president at the University of Chicago hospitals, and Loretta Robinson. Michelle's mother quit her job as a bank secretary. Now she could be available full-time for Manila and Salsa when Michelle and Barack were on the road. As Obama prepared to begin his campaign for president, he received some bad publicly. Tony Rizzo, a friend fundraiser and having contribution to Obama's campaign for the Senate, was indicted for fraud in October 2006. In June 2008, Rizzo was convicted on 16 counts of corruption. In November 2006, it came out that in June 2005, at the same time that the Obamas bought their house in South Chicago. The Rizzo had bought the lot next door. Obama then bought a piece of Rizzo's property to add to his lot, so that his children would have more room to play. Obama hadn't done everything legally or violated the Senate's electoral rules, but he admitted that he created the appearances that Rizzo was doing him a favor by selling him part of his lot. This was a mistake, Obama said, boneheading. In fact, but there had to be an embarrassing relationship. It was better to get it out of the way very early in the campaign. In February 2007, Barack Obama announced his candidacy for president of the United States. He made his announcement outside the old state capitol in Springfield, Illinois. It's a little chilly day, he joked. It was 12 degrees, but I fired up. The chilling, being in a crowd of 15,000, was clearly inferior too, as Obama reminded the Dallas. This was where Abraham Lincoln had made his famous speech, losing the well-known questionables from the Bible. A house divided against itself cannot stand. Barack Obama was a white New Republican star, and many commentators compare him with John F. Kennedy. Also had a handsome and spouting line senator when he ran for president. But throughout 2007, The front runner for the Democratic nomination was Senator Hillary Clinton, a New York, as former First Lady for 8 years during Bill Clinton's installation. She was much better known than Obama. Also, she had a powerful political organization in place and the resources of her husband's backup. However, Barack Obama's campaign quickly set record for fundraising, bringing in $58 million in the first half of 2007. An unprecedented number of donations were from small donors, giving less than $200 each. Most of this money was raised through the internet. Since Obama's longer campaign, staffers were familiar with the internet and knew how to use it. Though the internet, they were also able to quickly recirculate and organize an army of attempts. Sponsoring targets, Obama supported groups spinning up on social networking sites such as Facebook by March 2007. There were more than 500 Obama groups on Facebook. One of them, Stewards for Barack Obama, grew into Republican Action Committee with almost 62,000 members. Barack Obama's fame was also spread through the independently produced internet video, I Got a Crush on Obama, first appearing on YouTube in June 2007. It was a credited video making fun of how Obama supporters swarmed over him. It filled in long women posing and signing a provocative against a background of Obama's photos. This video was quickly viewed by millions of Americans and shown in TV news broadcasters. However, Obama wasn't pleased about the free publicity because the video has upset Melanie and Sasha. You do wish people will think about what impact their actions had on kids and families, he said. Michelle Obama campaigning regulations for her husband, both in young appearances and by himself. But the Obamas tried to keep their children's lives as normal as possible. Most of the time, Marilyn and Sasha stay home in Chicago. Our kids stayed on stability and water and consistency. Michelle explained in an interview. Even during the summer of 2007, when the girls were out of school, Michelle planned on their campaign trips, won birthday parties, and daycare fair tips. But America's sister, Marilyn Sutherland, also campaigning for him, taking 2 months off from work. Even his grandmother, Madeline Dawn, although she was 86 and fought, took part in a TV advertisement for Obama. At the presidential election sessions opened in January 2008, Barack Obama began to draw even with Hillary Clinton. First, he won out of course in the New Hampshire primary, although Clinton won the most votes. They won the same number of delegates to the Democratic National Convention. Obama congratulated Hillary Clinton on election night after the votes were in, but his speech to his supporters sounded more likely a real victory speech than a concession. He used again the slogan that had been so successfully in his campaign for the U.S. Senate. Yes, we can. His entire war back. Yes, we can. Obama went on to win the presidential primary in Nevada and South Carolina on February 5th, called Super Tuesday because so many states held their presidential elections that day. Obama won 20 more delegates than Clinton. By this time, the Democratic candidate in third place. John Edwards had dropped out of the race. In a televised speech that night, even before all the returns were in, Obama talked about what he would be do as president. I'll be a president who finally began. I'll be the president who finally. I said it again. Even before all the returns were in, Obama talked about what he would do as president. I'll be a president who finally brings Democrats and Republicans together to make health care affordable and available for every single American. We will put college education. We need to reach with everyone who wants to go, and instead of just talking about how great our teachers are, we will reward them for their greatness with more pay and better support, and we will harness with ingredient of farmers and scientists and enterprise workers to free this nation for the trend of oil once and for all. One clear advantage Barack Obama had over Hillary Clinton, as far as most Democrats were concerned, was that he had upstreamed the Iraq War from the beginning. His speech in October 2002, calling it a dumb war, he had widely distributed over the internet. When Hillary Clinton tried to paint him as his explanationist, Obama could reply that good judgment was more important than many years of experience. In October 2002, Clinton had voted along with most of Congress to give President Bush the authority to attack Iraq. In March, Barack Obama was hit with some bad popularities in connection with the revealed Jeremiah White, besides being Obama's friend and pastor for 20 years. White House role in Obama's campaign as one of more than 170 people on Obama's African American relations leader community. Now, ABC News was broadcasting video clips of White's fairly synonymous as he has sharply criticized the United States for his racism. He had also said the United States had brought the disaster of September 11, 2001 on itself through its own terrorism. Most Americans were shockingly and outraged. Most Americans were shocked and outraged by White's words, and they wondered how Barack Obama could be so close to White. Obama asked White to drop his association with the campaign. Since his presence could only hurt the candidate now, Obama also told Miller that he strongly commended White's inflammatory statements, but he didn't apologize White. He felt that he would be disloyal to the minister who had baptized him when he joined the church, marrying him and Michelle, and baptized their children. The incident converted Obama to that he needed to talk openly to Americans, white and black, about the issue of race relations in the United States. He was a speech enhancer and more perfect urine, and praised from the promoting to the U.S. consulation to underline his belief that the foundation of principles of the nation was at stake. He gave the speech at the National Construction Center in Philadelphia. Obama said afterward that he was shivering by mother as he walked the speech. He remembered his whole position pressing opposed to racial differences and how destroyed and shaping by the anger that the black little Malcolm X enterprising in the late 1960s. Perhaps he also remembered the story of the time his father won over the white man in the bar at Rick College back rhetorically by talking to him about race in a straightforward, confident way. Most million commentators and politicians, Republicans as well as Democrats, praise Obama's accords in the address the racial issue and felt that he handled it well. Chris Masters of the MSNBC said Obama had given what many of us think is one of the great speeches in American history. However, in the short run that uproar over the right, causing Obama's vulnerable in the polls to drop from 50% to 45%, that might have been the end of the incident. It said that in April, General White appearing before the National Press Club and repeating his controversial views. He suggesting that Obama's secretary agreed with him. At this point, Barack Obama finally felt forced to destroy his former friend and pastor. In May, the Obamas regularly left dirty shots. In early March, in the Republican primaries, Senator John McCain had become the possibility nominee, meaning that the party would formally nominate him during their national convention in September. McCain could afford to relax a bit and gather his force for the general election, while Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton kept up and faster and struggled for the Democratic nomination through March, April, and May. But Obama gradually outstepped Clinton. On June 3rd, when all the preliminary results were in, Obama had enough delegates to win the Democratic nomination. He was now the presidential nominee of the Democrat Party. On June 7th, Clinton announced that she was endorsing Obama. For the general election, Obama will need more money. In 2004, both George W. Bush's campaign and John Kerry's campaign had raised over $200 million. Some politicians, observers predicted that each major candidate in the 2008 election would have to raise more than $400 million. In mid-June, Obama decided to tore down Partner's financial for the general election. Partner's financial will provide $84 million, but then the candidates had to accept strict spending limits. Obama was confident that he could raise much more than $84 million, since he raised $55 million in February alone. This was a new record for fundraising in 1 month. In order to challenge John McCain in the traditional Republican states, he would need large amounts of money, and he would need freedom from spending limits. In June alone, the Obama campaign raised $52 million, Monday and Tuesday the mob raised by John McCain. Senator McCain had second public funding him for the general election, and his campaign criticized Obama loudly for failing to stand in the principle and keep his word to the American people. This was a reminder that Obama had originally agreed to limit himself to public funding if his Republican opponent did the same. During this year of non-stop campaigning, Barack Obama tried to weigh his family life in with his Harvard schedule. Since Barack was scheduled to give an Independence Day speech in Belgium, Michelle decided that the Obamas would celebrate Malala's birthday while watching the 4th of July parade there. So Barack gave his speech, and then Obama's hosting a printed in Belgium for family and friends. Malala will have a private birthday party with her friends the week after her actual birthday. Also on Barack and Michelle's schedule during the 4th of July celebration was an interview for the program at Access Hollywood. They have a plan to include Malala and Salsa in the interview, but Barack and Michelle were in a relaxing mood that day and thought it might be fun. The interviewer was surprised and delighted to include the girls at the last minute. Marilyn told the interviewer how her father had embarrassed her once by shaking hands with one of her 9-year-old friends, as if she were a voter. You don't really shake hands with kids, explaining Marlon and Salsa, confident that anyone in the family except her father liked ice cream. Ice cream. She and Marilyn agreed that their parents would most likely get mad at them for whining. They also agreed that they would like to see their parents holding hands or kissing. In all, the interview didn't reveal everything, very private, and Michelle and the strangers didn't seem uncomfortable about it. But Barack said afterwards that it was a mistake. I don't think it's happy, and it's something that will be evolving in the future. He said his family life was very precious to him, and this fact is his family life was very precious to him, and this felt a little too interested. Even since Barack Obama emerges as the likely Democratic candidate, Senator McCain had been attacking him for his lack of foreign policy experiences. McCain has strongly supported the Iraq War from the beginning, and he tried to cast Obama as negligent and irregular of military matters. McCain kept challenging Obama to travel to Iraq and see for himself how well the war was going. Obama saw this challenge as extraordinary, and he was glad to take McCain up on it. By meeting with warriors and visiting turbulent parts of the war, he could demonstrate to American voters that he had stigmatically oppressed. He could discuss his views about versus important decisions he would have to make if he won the election. So in July, Obama left for the Middle East and Western Europe. Obama asked Senators Chuck Hanger of Nebraska and Jack Reed of Rhode Island to travel to Iraq with him. Hanger, though Republican, had criticized the Bush administration repeatedly for its conduct of the Iraq War. Also, as a member of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, Hagan had experiences that Obama lacked. Reed and Democrat was a member of the important Senate Armed Forces Commitment. Reed had been in Congress since 1990 and Hagan since 1996. One of the highlights of Obama's trip abroad was his stop in Berlin, Germany. There, at the Berlin Wall that had once separated Soviet-dominated East Germany from West Germany. He spoke to a crowd of 200,000, million of them waving American flags. Viewers remembered that President John F. Kennedy and President Ronald Reagan had also made nominal speeches in Berlin. If McCain instead to make his rival look presidential, he has succeeded. That's all for the chapter 13 and chapter 14 for the night. Tomorrow will be the final chapter of chapter 15.